Hello, my friends. I'm Dr. William Harris. I've spent over 30 years working as a physician here in the United States. And now, in my 60s, I spend much of my time with people just like you, men and women, in their 50s, 60s, and 70s who want to stay strong, independent, and full of life. Have you ever checked your blood pressure and seen the numbers creeping up, maybe 135 over 85 or 140 over 90, and felt that uneasy pit in your stomach? The quiet worry that whispers, "Am I in danger?" I've seen that look so many times, but listen closely. High blood pressure doesn't mean your story is over. It's not a punishment. It's a message your body's saying, "Take care of me." High blood pressure or hypertension is called the silent killer because it often hides without symptoms. But the hopeful truth is this: you can fight it, you can lower it, and you can protect your heart. I've seen patients turn their health around in a matter of weeks, not with magic, but with small, steady changes. Today, I want to share those changes with you, the same ones that have helped thousands of people reclaim control of their lives. Think of this not as a medical lecture, but as a friendly conversation between two friends sharing coffee across a kitchen table. Let's begin with food, because every bite you take is either feeding your health or feeding your risk. One of my patients, Mary, was 67 years old. She loved fried chicken, salty snacks, and diet soda. Her blood pressure was 150 over 95. I didn't start her on pills, I started with her plate. I asked her to try the DASH diet, more vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, fish, nuts, and low-fat dairy while cutting back on fast food and processed meals. Within 6 weeks, her blood pressure dropped nearly 15 points. That wasn't a miracle. That was nutrition. The average American consumes around 3,400 milligrams of sodium per day, far more than the recommended 1,500 to 2,300. Salt makes your body hold on to water, which raises blood pressure. But if you simply cut your sodium intake in half, you can lower your systolic pressure by 5 to 6 points. That might sound small, but it could be the difference between safety and stroke. And it's not just about cutting salt, potassium, magnesium, and calcium found in bananas, beans, leafy greens, and yogurt help relax your blood vessels and balance sodium's effects. Now imagine your next meal. Will it be a greasy burger with fries or a fresh grilled salmon with a colorful salad? One choice pushes your numbers up. The other could add years to your life. Then there's movement. Exercise isn't punishment, it's freedom. My patient Tom, 72, once told me, "Doc, I'm too old to change. What difference will a walk make now?" I challenged him. Just 20 minutes of brisk walking 5 days a week. 6 months later, he had lost 12 pounds. His blood pressure dropped 12 points, and he told me, "I feel 20 years younger." Studies prove that adults who walk briskly lower their risk of developing high blood pressure by up to 31%. And exercise doesn't have to mean a gym membership. It can be dancing with your spouse, swimming at the community pool, cycling through the park, or gardening in your backyard. The key is consistency. Think of your body like a violin. If you only play it once in a while, it sounds rough, but when you practice every day, the music flows. Now let's talk about stress. Have you ever noticed your blood pressure spike after an argument or a bad day at work? That's adrenaline and cortisol, your body's stress hormones. They're useful in emergencies, but harmful when they linger. One of my patients, Roger, was under constant financial stress. Despite eating well and exercising, his blood pressure stayed high. Only when he started journaling each night, writing down his worries before bed, did his numbers start to fall. You don't need hours of meditation. Even 5 minutes of deep breathing can temporarily lower blood pressure. Yoga, prayer, or a slow evening walk can calm your nervous system. And never underestimate sleep. Less than 6 hours a night dramatically raises your risk of hypertension. One of my patients, Linda, struggles. She thought it was just part of aging. But once we improved her sleep hygiene, turning off screens, keeping a regular bedtime, creating a calm, dark space, her blood pressure stabilized. Sleep isn't a luxury, it's medicine. Here's another simple but powerful tool: water. Dehydration makes your blood thicker, forcing your heart to pump harder. One man I treated drank coffee all day and almost no water. When he replaced half of his coffee with plain water, his blood pressure improved within weeks. Aim for 6 to 8 glasses a day. Carry a water bottle. Set reminders. Flavor it with lemon if you need to. Small, consistent hydration protects your blood vessels more than you realize. Now, we have to talk about two of the strongest triggers of hypertension: alcohol. Let's take a quick tour inside your body. Imagine your arteries as flexible tubes carrying life-giving blood to every organ. When pressure inside those tubes stays high for too long, the inner lining called the endothelium starts to tear. Those tiny tears attract cholesterol, forming plaque. Your arteries become stiff, narrow, and less elastic. Your heart, that incredible muscle beating 100,000 times a day now, has to push harder against resistance. It grows thicker, heavier, and eventually weaker. Over time, this pressure damages the kidneys, which have to filter harder, the brain, where small vessels can burst or clog, even your eyes, where delicate vessels may leak, leading to blurred vision. Every organ pays the price. That's the cruel part. You might look fine on the outside while your insides are under siege. When you see a reading like 130/80, those numbers mean more than just digits. The top number, systolic, measures the pressure when your heart beats. The bottom number, diastolic, is the pressure when your heart rests. The ideal? Below 120/80. Between 120 and 129, that's elevated. 130 to 139, stage 1 hypertension. 140 or higher, stage 2. Each 20-point rise in the top number doubles your risk of stroke or heart attack. That's why it's so important to know your numbers and track them regularly. So what causes this invisible storm? Sometimes genetics, maybe your parents had it. But more often it's habits. Too much salt, too little movement. Stress, poor sleep, smoking, alcohol, dehydration. Even loneliness can raise blood pressure because chronic isolation fuels the same stress hormones as fear or anger. And yes, age plays a role. As we grow older, our arteries naturally stiffen. But age is not an excuse. I've seen patients in their 70s lower their blood pressure naturally simply by changing how they live. Let's talk about food, your first medicine. I'll never forget Mary, 67 years old, who loved fried chicken, potato chips, and diet soda. Her blood pressure was 152/96. She didn't want medication, she wanted hope. So we started small. I introduced her to the DASH diet, dietary approaches to stop hypertension. More fruits, vegetables, beans, lentils, fish, nuts, whole grains, and low-fat dairy. Less processed food, less red meat, and definitely less salt. Within 6 weeks, Mary's blood pressure dropped 15 points. She said, "Doc, I didn't know food could heal." It can. Salt is one of the biggest culprits. The average American eats about 3,400 milligrams of sodium a day. We need only around 1,500 to 2,300. Sodium makes your body hold on to water, increasing the volume of blood and therefore the pressure. But it's not just what you remove, it's what you add. Potassium, magnesium, and calcium found in bananas, avocados, leafy greens, yogurt help relax your blood vessels and flush out excess sodium. So, next time you cook, think of your plate as a prescription pad. Every bite is a decision: medicine or poison. Now, let's talk about the other medicine that doesn't come in a bottle movement. One of my patients, Tom, 72, used to say, "Doc, I think I'm too old to start exercising." I told him, "Tom, you're not too old to start, you're too young to stop." He began walking 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week. No fancy gym, no expensive equipment, just a pair of sneakers and determination. 6 months later, he'd lost 12 pounds. His blood pressure dropped 12 points, and he told me, "Doc, I feel alive again." Exercise doesn't have to be intense. Even brisk walking, swimming, gardening, or dancing can make a difference. The goal? 150 minutes a week, that's just 30 minutes a day. Exercise makes your heart stronger, so it doesn't have to work as hard to pump blood. It's one of the most powerful side effect-free treatments known to medicine. You can eat perfectly, move regularly, and still struggle if your mind is always under pressure. And when you're stressed, your body releases adrenaline and cortisol hormones that tighten your arteries and raise your heart rate. I once treated a man named Roger whose blood pressure stayed stubbornly high. He ate clean, walked daily, but he was constantly worried about his finances. We started something simple: 5 minutes of journaling every night before bed. He wrote down every thought that bothered him and then closed the notebook, leaving the worry on the page, not in his heart. Within weeks, his readings dropped. That's the power of peace. You don't need an hour of meditation. Even 60 seconds of deep breathing can reset your nervous system. Try this. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale slowly for 6. Do it 5 times. Your body will thank you. Let's talk about something people dismiss too easily: sleep. When you sleep less than 6 hours a night, your body doesn't get a chance to balance hormones or repair blood vessels. Your blood pressure stays high even when you rest. Linda, a 65-year-old patient of mine, thought insomnia was just part of aging. We made simple changes. No screens an hour before bed, a fixed bedtime, cooler room temperature, a short gratitude note before sleep. Within 2 weeks, she was sleeping 7 hours straight. Her blood pressure fell 10 points. She said, "It feels like my body forgave me." Sleep is not a luxury, it's medicine your body gives itself. You might not realize it, but dehydration thickens your blood, making your heart work harder. One man I treated drank 8 cups of coffee a day and barely any water. When he replaced half of those with plain water, his blood pressure improved within a month. Aim for 6 to 8 glasses of water daily. Add a slice of lemon, cucumber, or mint for flavor. Your heart is mostly muscle, and like any muscle, it performs best when it's hydrated. Now, 2 habits that quietly destroy your blood vessels: alcohol and smoking. Let's be honest, many people believe a glass of wine or a beer is harmless. But alcohol increases your heart rate and damages the protective lining of your arteries. Over time, it raises your blood pressure. Even small amounts can matter if you're sensitive. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1 drink a day for women and 2 for men, but if you can drink less, even better. And smoking, there's no safe amount. Every puff tightens your arteries, raises your pressure, and robs your blood of oxygen. The moment you quit, your body starts healing. Within a year, blood pressure can drop 5-10 points. It's not deprivation, it's liberation. Let's bust a few myths. Myth 1. High blood pressure runs in my family, so I can't change it. Truth. Genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. You can absolutely lower your numbers. Myth 2. I feel fine, so my blood pressure must be fine. False. You can feel perfectly healthy while your arteries are being damaged. That's why regular checks are vital. If I start medication, I'll need it forever. Not necessarily. Many people reduce or even stop medication after lifestyle improvements, but always under a doctor's supervision. High blood pressure is sneaky, but your monitor doesn't lie. Get a reliable digital blood pressure machine. Check it twice a week, once in the morning, once in the evening. Sit quietly for 5 minutes before measuring. Record your readings. Watch the trend. Aim for progress, not perfection. Even a 5-point drop reduces your risk of stroke. Your numbers are not your enemy, they're feedback from your body. I've seen transformations that still move me. A 74-year-old woman who replaced her evening TV snack with a walk and fruit. Her pressure dropped from 160 to 125 in 3 months. A man who joined a community gardening group not just for exercise but for laughter, his blood pressure normalized after years of medication. A widow who began journaling and meditating, finally finding peace, her heart rate slowed. Her smile returned. The science is clear, but it's the stories that prove it works. Because high blood pressure doesn't just rise from salt or stress, it rises from disconnection, from ignoring the whispers of your own body. So, my friends, let me leave you with this. High blood pressure is not destiny, it's a message. Your body is asking for kindness, for movement, for rest, for love. Every small act counts. Every healthy meal, every deep breath, every walk through the park is a note of gratitude from your body back to you. Remember Mary and her food choices. Remember Tom and his morning walks. Remember Linda and her nights of peaceful sleep. They're proof that it's never too late to begin again. If this video has touched you, give it a like so more people can find hope. Subscribe to this channel for more conversations about healthy aging. And in the comments, tell me what one small change will you start this week. I'm Dr. William Harris, wishing you a strong heart, a calm mind, and a long, beautiful life. Your best years are not behind you, they're waiting ahead, one heartbeat at a time.